the National Security Advisor, Nuhu Ribadu, who on Monday assured Nigerians that pupils and staff abducted from St. Mary's Private Catholic Primary and Secondary School in Niger State are in good condition and will soon be reunited with their families. Speaking during a solidarity visit to the Catholic Bishop of Katagora Diocese, Bulus, and the proprietor of the school, Ribadu revealed that international partners, including the United States of America, France, the United Kingdom, and other European countries, are rallying behind Nigeria in the fight against terrorism and banditry, noting that the whole world is coming together to stop and defeat what he described as an evil that has been going on in Nigeria for 2 decades.
Now, it has been ongoing for a while, but work is ongoing. Work is in progress. We don't need to give details of what has been ongoing, what is happening. But we can assure you, it's a matter of time. This thing will stop. We must stop it. We are going to stop it. I'm telling you, enough is enough. Like I said, very painful, honestly. Many of us, as you see us, don't even sleep. Many of us are going through the worst moments of our lives. Many of our people are also killed every single day. We bury our best. We bury those who sacrifice their lives for you, for all of us, every single day. And we will continue to do it. We will not relent. We will not stop. We can give you the assurance that we are going to be there.
All right, this is a significant development in what has become one of the most brazen school abductions in recent times. 315 people, mostly children, taken from a Catholic school in broad daylight. Ribadu's assurance that the students are doing fine is good to calm families and, of course, the nation. But the real test is bringing them home safely and swiftly. Meanwhile, the Northern Governors Forum has announced the creation of a regional security trust fund under which the 19 northern states and their local government areas will contribute a combined 1 billion naira monthly to confront the escalating banditry, terrorism, and kidnapping ravaging the region. The forum described illegal mining as a major contributory factor to the security crisis in the north, accusing artisanal miners and their sponsors of funding banditry and terrorism. The governors also called on President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to direct Dele Alake, the Minister of Solid Minerals Development, to immediately suspend all mining activities in the region for 6 months to enable a comprehensive audit and revalidation of licenses. Well, Kaduna State Governor Uba Sani at the meeting stated that as the northern governors make strides in tackling insecurity, they still face a troubling trend of deliberate politicization of insecurity by some opposition actors. Let's take a listen.
A few voices driven by narrow political motives have worked to create the impression that northern governors have grown complacent or inactive. Nothing could be further from the truth. We know the weight of the mandates entrusted to us. Every governor seated here works tirelessly to secure our communities. We coordinate, compare strategies, share intelligence, and hold one another accountable. Our people deserve stability, opportunity, and hope, and we have never relented in our duty to deliver this.
All right, this was a very, very welcoming meeting. I thought that, the northern governors did very well in meeting and talking about insecurity that has been plaguing us. And the northern governors also reaffirmed, their wholehearted support for the creation of state police and urged northern, federal, and state lawmakers to fast-track the required constitutional amendments, encouraging national and state assembly members in the region to expedite action for its actualization. Let me just start with you, Vimbai, with the meeting, the Governors Forum, as well as, Nuhu Ribadu, reassuring, Nigerians that our girls will return. I believe about 285 or 84 of them are still out there missing. And, we took the story, Dr. Bati, you weren't here, where, the Niger State Governor talked about the fact that I think 11 students were rescued. And that was quite controversial because he didn't give Nigerians the assurance that we want to hear. So it's good to hear that the National Security Advisor is here collaborating and saying that we have technology in place. We have even international partners that are going to be partnering with us to bring our girls back home.
Yes, absolutely. I think the reassurance is welcome and it's important, but I'm not sure it's the message that Nigerians really want to hear at the moment. Because what we've established is that we know where they are, and it seems that by insinuation, it means we know who's keeping them. The argument has been put forward that, oh, you know, the reason why we don't just move in on these people is to avoid collateral damage and so forth. But at this point, I think we need a specific position on whether or not we negotiate with bandits and terrorists. I listened to the governor of Gombe State, I believe, Yahaya, yesterday, who was saying that, oh, negotiating with bandits is not a northern problem, it's a national problem. So it seems that there needs to be a specific direction and strategy around this. You know, I don't want to say too much because they're in captivity. It's clear there's a negotiation going on, and I don't want to, you know, seem to add information that might jeopardize that process. But we do need to take a firm decision about that. Now, very quickly to the northern governors, we saw the southern governors came together and they met. We would have expected actually the northern governors to have been the first group to meet, given that the epicenter is situated in the north, but better late than never. Concerns around the suspension of mining for 6 months, for me personally, number one, we all know the role that mining plays and the proceeds of illegal mining plays in fueling all this insecurity that's happening beyond Nigeria, Burkina Faso, Mali, even as far as Sudan. It's gold proceeds, illegal gold mining proceeds that are fueling the procurement of arms and all other activities. These bandits put in protection fees and so forth for these illegal and artisanal miners. Banning for 6 months for an audit, for a revalidation of licenses, for me seems like a very superficial proposition when we know that the problems are deeper rooted. The Ministry of Solid Minerals has taken significant steps in dealing with this menace. There is a mining marshal's corps. It has over 2,600 officers, and they have been closing down illegal mines. They've been evacuating people. They've done so for over 400 mines. Can't we strengthen that force and see what results we can get from that, instead of creating this 6-month moratorium where it seems like we just want to remove our players and our people of interest from the scene of the crime, and then suddenly say, okay, we can mine again. It's an amnesty in colorful language, and we're not looking for an amnesty on banditry in the north at the moment or terrorism in the north. We're looking to tackle it, find the people responsible for it, and deal with them once and for all decisively.
I slightly disagree with you on this score, Vimbai, because I believe that, you know, the stoppage of these terrorists at this point, I believe is the most crucial thing that the northern governors can do. And suspending mining for 6 months means everybody or anybody in that area should stop work, right? And then so in doing so, there won't be people in that area, there won't be politicians like Governor Ubasani has alluded to, saying that they are the ones, you know, stifling and also funding the terrorism that we see in that region, in that northern region.
Yes. In one sentence, we know that the networks extend to Niger, Burkina Faso, Mali, Chad, Benin Republic. So all they will do is they'll flee to neighboring countries. We haven't secured our borders.
Well,
once the 6 months is over, that means they'll just come. So in 6 months, they'll just come back because you haven't dealt with the fundamental issues.
I love that, but that's why there's the 1 billion Naira fund that they are going to use to secure their area. I mean, this is what I get from the meeting, which I think
it is entitled to take away different
which I think it is quite encouraging also to see. The 6-month moratorium, the 6-month period, I hope that the northern governors will use that opportunity to secure their territory, like Vimbai has suggested as well. Dr. Abati, I'd like to come to you on it before I'd like to take this story before I come to you. Talking about, you know, politicians funding terrorism. Meanwhile, former Chief of Defense Staff, General Lucky Irabor, has alleged that some politicians are funding terrorism in Nigeria. Irabor spoke on live television, stating that while he was Chief of Defense Staff, some trials were initiated against individuals identified as financiers of terrorism, noting that several people are being called to question over their alleged involvement. He also stated that Christians are being targeted in the country, adding that there are many individuals who are being investigated for their roles in funding terrorist activities. Let's take a look.
But the reality is that our issues in terms of security challenges are multifaceted, implying that just as you have terrorists who have an ideology, you equally have those who are bent on targeting Christians, and there are also those who are also targeting communities. That does not mean that some politicians have not taken advantage of the insecurity, or if you like, the state of under governance, as it were, if I may use that coinage, to want to perhaps gain some form of leverage to score the point that there is poor governance. They could also instigate certain crises in one way or the other.
So, General, for a fact, Christians are being targeted.
Of course, some Christians are being targeted. No doubt about it.
For a fact, politicians are funding terror in this country.
Some politicians.
Yeah.
If I wouldn't want to say.
I mean, so when I say politicians, that means that there are the politicians who are funding it.
Well, this is a significant revelation from a former chief of defense staff. Although he did not name specific politicians or provide details about the ongoing investigations, the allegations that politicians are funding terrorism raises serious questions about the depth of the security crisis and whether it is purely a military problem or a political one with powerful interests benefiting from the chaos. Meanwhile, the regional leader of the Church of Christ in Nations, Reverend Ezekiel Dachemo, who has consistently been outspoken about the issue of Christian genocide in Nigeria, condemned the fact that Nigeria's President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and Vice President Kashim Shettima are both Muslims. Speaking on live television on Monday, Dachemo called the move a complete genocide against Christians. Let's take a look.
And Shettima is a Muslim. The president is the Muslim. Is that not complete genocide to Christians in the political world? A complete genocide. They are displaying Islamic agenda. They want to control the whole country.
Dachemo there saying that the Muslim ticket is a Christian genocide. I mean, this is not a new controversy. The Muslim ticket was one of the most contentious issues of the 2023 presidential election, with many Christian leaders and groups opposing it on grounds that it violated Nigeria's unwritten principle of religious balance in governance. Reverend Dachemo's characterization of it as a complete genocide is particularly a strong language, which many may not agree with. Dr. Abati, I'd like for you to tie in both stories. First, with the Chief of Defense Staff, saying that there's an ongoing investigation on the issue of, politicians funding or those that are funding terrorism in Nigeria. And also, on the other hand, Dachemo here has, raised that controversy again about the Muslim ticket in Nigeria.
General Lucky Rabo was Chief of Defense Staff.
Yes.
And here was he in a television interview saying that some politicians, some major figures are funding terrorism. Well, it's not saying anything new. Mm-hmm. The Americans at the time, the State Department, in fact said, terrorism in Nigeria, banditry in Nigeria was being funded by certain notable figures. And I think they collaborated with the Nigerian government. I think it was also the United Arab Emirates at the time who named some Nigerians that they said were involved in terrorism financing within the spectrum of cooperation, international cooperation to fight this challenge. The Nigerian Financial Intelligence Unit also at the time came forward and said they were trying some people, investigating some people. The question is, what happened with all those investigations? What happened with the persons who were being investigated? And then General Lucky Rabo, as CDS, being a Chief of Defense Staff, is a major position. He has access to a lot of information. What I would have expected would have been for the former Chief of Defense Staff to say, oh, these are some of the persons, or this was the point we reached, because Nigerians will know who are those persons. Everybody says they exist, but nobody has done anything to them. So this reign of impunity continues. Now, as for the National Security Advisor going to Kutangura to meet the Catholic Bishop of Kutangura Diocese, the proprietor of St. Mary's Primary and Secondary School, and also the parents of the affected over 300 students. I said earlier, that shows empathy. It's a reaffirmation of the fact that the Nigerian government, the Tinubu administration, has been consistent in identifying with people when they are, facing distress. And they've improved in terms of their response time. That same place, the federal government had sent a team there before, issued a statement. Now the National Security Advisor goes there and says, we will do whatever it takes to make sure that the remaining children are freed. And I think that, that is good in terms of optics, as I said earlier on. The thing to suggest is that the National Security Advisor should keep his promise, not only with the children in Niger State, in Papiri, that's where the school is located, but generally across the country, so that this environment can be safe for all of us. You talked about the Northern Governors. The Northern Governors have been meeting since 1955, either with education or they say they want to address poverty and all of that. And anytime they meet like that, we see it as a good gesture, good initiative. After all, their job as leaders, as government, is to defend the interests of their people. But the major concern here is that these meetings often do not yield concrete results. And we just hope that this particular meeting, this time around, by the Northern Governors Forum, will not be another talk show. They say they are creating a Northern Security Trust Fund. That Northern Security Trust Fund will have to be managed, and the management will have to be in collaboration with the existing security infrastructure. As for suspension of licenses, I said in September, Mr. Dele Alake, the Minister of Solid Minerals, already took a step in that direction. But there can be collaboration to make sure that the states work with the federal government.
Yes,
the devil is in the details.
The devil is in the details. They have to collaborate to work with the federal government with these steps that you have said that Dele Alake has put in place.
All right. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to Political Roundtable. I'm your host, UB, and of course, we don't do this alone. It's always UB and the Rule Fam. So, real quick, I just want to update you guys on what's going on in Nigeria as regard the security situation. Shout out to my lovely sister Natu. Shout out to everybody watching right now. Mom of 5, you're welcome. I see my baby girl. Comfort Adagri, how you doing? Tosi in the building. Thank you, everybody. So let's quickly dive into this conversation. This show is going to be more or less the shortest political roundtable I've ever done live, and it's because I just wanted to break the news to our viewers that it seems for the first time, President Tinubu is now taking active step towards dealing with the insecurity situation in the country. I'm going to send the link to you right now. Uncle Dayo, my co-host, I'll drop the link to you in the backstage so you can come in if you are free. If you're not free, no problem. This is meant to be a very short one anyway. So before I dive into explaining the step President Tinubu is taking to combat this terrorism, let me quickly, first of all, address what was said by the Arise News analyst. First off, let's start with Nuhu Ribadu. So Nuhu Ribadu, of course, is the senior special advisor on security in Nigeria, and he's working with President Tinubu. So as you can see from the Arise News report, he went to visit the Catholic bishop who are in charge of the church, where about 315, I think, is it 312 or 315? Anyway, we didn't get the accurate figure, but we know over 300 students were abducted by the bandits from that Catholic church. So Nuhu Ribadu went there to visit. and he tried to show solidarity. He tried to let the community know that the presidency is with them. But these are the issues. We do not want all these visitations. We just want insecurity to be a thing of the past in Nigeria. So, but first, let me ask this question because it kept bothering me, and I don't know, maybe I'm reading the wrong meaning to it. What do you think when the presidency or anybody at all who's working in this Tinubu administration made the statement, we know where they are, we know where the terrorists are, we know who they are? Just tell me, what do you made of that statement? Because to me, it come off as, can I say, an admission of collaboration with the bandits? Because I just don't get it. How would you say we know who they are, we know where they are? And they repeatedly said this, even in the Senate, they said the same thing all the time. We know who they are, we know where they are. I don't get it. You know who they are, you know where they are, but you're not doing shit about it. So please, drop in the chat right now if you kind of understand what that means. I see you, my lovely sister Mary. How are you doing today? You're welcome. Olumide Baoni, what's up? Welcome, my brother. So please tell me in the chat real quick, what do you make of that stupid statement all the time? It irritates me, honestly. I feel like throwing up whenever I hear them say, we know who they are, we know where they are. Meaning what? Now, I know in the past we've spoken about trying not to drag Nigeria in the mud. We've spoken about the marketing of Nigeria, and I think that was trending when Davido admitted that the Nigeria economy wasn't doing great, and a couple of more or some other celebrities came out and said, we have this situation in Nigeria, people are not safe, there is massive kidnapping, bandits are roaming everywhere. And these same politicians are the one who came out and started lambasting everybody, saying, oh, you are demarketing Nigeria. When you said that, you are demarketing Nigeria. But here we are facing this insecurity situation that will never go away. Every day on Twitter, on Facebook, on Instagram, we saw videos of commuters whose most time they are stranded on the way because bandits are kidnapping some people up ahead on the road. We've seen videos of vehicles that were stopped and all the passengers in the vehicles, they were all gone, kidnapped. So I don't get it. Please drop your thoughts. Let me read your take. That we know who they are, we know where they are. What exactly does that mean? Is that a way of telling us, oh, we are on top of the game? And then Nuhu Ribadu went ahead and saying, we are not attacking these terrorists because we don't want them to use innocent civilians as a shield. Bro, you are chief security advisor. When you make statement like that, you are actually telling the bandits what to do. You are literally saying to them, hey, if you don't want us to attack you, make sure you have civilians around you. Build a wall around you with these innocent civilians so that way the government cannot attack you. I'm sorry, Mr. Chief Security Advisor. That's the message you're passing across. So let me get your take in the chat real quick. Uncle Dayo is in the building. Uncle Dayo, how are you doing today, sir?
Yeah, good evening, Uncle Beno. Good evening, Real Farm. So good to be here again. I really appreciate being here.
Yeah, so Uncle Dayo, I don't know if you have been following the segment I'm covering on this political roundtable. That statement they make all the time. We know who they are, we know where they are. Sir, what do you make of that statement? Is that like comforting or reassuring, or what exactly does that mean, sir?
Uncle Beno, let me tell you the way it is. When people that are saying that, the very next person standing next to them in that same room or in that same space is one of the people sponsoring this especially these so-called terrorists. And they are there around them. They know them, that this man standing next to me is one of the sponsors. That one sitting across the table over there is one of them. That one on that high altar there is one of them. So when they are saying we know who they are, they know them, because they are there with them, inside the same government, inside the same office, inside the same places. So what can they do? They can only say they know them, but they can't do anything to them, because they are their colleagues. They are their friends.
So that's more or less like an admission of defeat?
That's much more like an admission of collaboration. Because they cannot do anything to them.
That's how it sounds to me. Continue, sir.
So basically, whenever they are saying that, they are only saying it just because that's what people expect them to say. Because if people that are not within that cabinet, people that are not within their space, knows these people, and many of them have been fingered.
But I do welcome that suspension.
With good reports. Many of them have been fingered before, and they have not come out to debunk it. None of them has debunked it yet. That means they have been exposed. They know those that have been exposed, and they know those that are still hiding. But whatever it is, they themselves, they know exactly who are the people behind all these issues. But they cannot touch them because they are their colleague.
Absolutely. Let me take some comment real quick. Shout out to Saved by Grace. How you doing? Saved by Grace said, what a shameful country. I wonder to myself. Shout out to Olumide. Olumide said, these northern governors are just jokers. 1 billion security trust fund. For what, may I ask? I don't know. Uncle Dayo, help me address this real quick. 1 billion security trust fund. For what exactly, sir? Do you have any idea what these northern governors meant by that?
Uncle Beno, 1 billion security funds, maybe they are just making it open. How much they are collecting monthly for the past how many years? If it's not up to that, it will not be far from that already, or even more than that monthly, that they have been voting for themselves. And now look at the funniest part of it. This money does not have any account. There's nothing like nobody's monitoring how you are going to spend it. They just vote it, and how you spend it is up to you as a governor. So all of them have it every month, and then depending on the security risk in their state, determines how much they are being given. It's an accountless account, so to say. So they are making money from it. But what do they want to do with 1 billion naira monthly for security? Are they buying guns and ammunition? Do they want to buy airplanes? Do they want to buy jet fighters or what? I don't understand. When I saw it, I was like, what? Okay, now, if they have said they want to use it to rehabilitate IDPs, every family, every villages that have been burned down, they want to understand. But trust me, sir, once that money comes, you will not see anything that you do with it. It's that bad. They are just fighting for their own pockets.
Exactly. Shout out to my lovely sister Peanut. How you doing, man? Anthony, what's up, man? Anthony said Tinubu is selecting chronics for his own interest. It looks like that, bro. My beautiful sister Mary said they are one and the same people, just as we suspected. Exactly, my sister. It's crazy. So Anthony said, bullshit. Oh God, this is our real farm community. You guys always make me laugh even when I don't want to laugh. I thought it's a bullshit. Tinubu has been operating Nigeria as a criminal organization. He needs to be removed from office. Out with those kind of leadership. Well, that's a suggestion, but I don't think removing Tinubu is the solution to what we are facing right now. Mary said, I only pray that they are not bringing the retired general to set him up and buy him. Honestly, I fear for him as well. He knows a lot. Absolutely. Let me start this one because I will come back to this shortly. Canary, what's up? Where have you been, man? Canary say so they can share the money. Oh, my brother, why are you so dishonest now? May we never reveal their secret, Baba. But shout out to you, my brother. You're welcome. All right, let's move on real quick. I quickly want to go to the main topic of the day, which is the appointment of CG Musa, which to me, I think Tinubu is ready to fight terrorists in Nigeria with this appointment. But where do we go from here? I'll be right back just in a second.
You are watching Political Roundtable with UB. Like, subscribe, and leave your thoughts in the comments.
All right. I believe you would have heard the news already that Tinubu has nominated Christopher Musa for defense minister's role. And honestly, it seems like this is a welcome development. So first off, we should ask ourselves, who is this defense minister and why it seems like Tinubu is finally calling the shots? So let me briefly introduce you to this amazing officer. So according to the Punch newspaper, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu on Tuesday nominated former Chief of Defense Staff, General Christopher Musa, as the new Minister of Defense following the resignation of Alhaji Mohammed Badru on Monday due to health reasons. I really don't believe that health reason. That dude had no clue, no reason whatsoever to have been the the Minister of Defense in the first place. So those are some of the appointments made by President Tinubu that are somehow questionable. So that resignation due to health reason, no, I think that is BS. But let's continue. According to the Punch, here are some things to know about CG Musa. Musa, born on December 25th, 1967, is 58 years old. He graduated from the Nigerian Defense Academy in 1991 with a Bachelor of Science degree after earlier attending the College of Advanced Studies, Zaria, in 1986 and completing his primary and secondary education in Sokoto before that year. He served as the 18th Chief of Defense Staff from June 2023 to October 2025, where he oversaw integrated operations across all branches of the armed forces. Before then, he was commander of the Nigerian Army Infantry Corps between 2022 and 2023, directing infantry training and development. From 2021 to 2022, Musa was the theater commander of Operation Hadinkai in northern Nigeria, leading counter-terrorism operations against Boko Haram. Prior to that, he commanded Sector 3 of the Multinational Joint Task Force in the Lake Chad region from 2019 to 2021, coordinating joint military efforts with neighboring countries. During the same period, he also served as commander of Sector 3, Operation Lafia Dole, overseeing sector-level counter-insurgency operations. In 2019, Musa served as Deputy Chief of Staff, Training and Operations at the Headquarters Infantry Center and Corps. Before 2019, he had held several strategic positions, including infantry representative on the training team at the Army Armor Corps headquarters, assistant director of operations requirement at Army headquarters, commanding officer of 73 Battalion, and General Staff Officer 1, training and operations at 81 Division. Commissioned as a second lieutenant in 1991, Musa began his military career in infantry roles that formed the foundation of his later leadership appointments. He is also a recipient of several honors, including the Kolipoe Award for Soldiering 2012 in recognition of outstanding military leadership. Musa's nomination comes as the federal government seeks continuity in defense leadership following Badaru's exit. Now, that's I think some of the background information we need to know about Musa. Now, talking about him leading operations against Boko Haram at the Sahel region. In case you don't know the Sahel region, you would have heard about Ibrahim Traore of Burkina Faso, as well as the two other presidents who are fighting terrorist insurgency in the northern part of Nigeria. I mean, in the neighboring country of Nigeria. But first, this particularly caught my attention. While he was leading the fight against terrorism at the northern border, CG Musa made this suggestion that was completely ignored by all the presidents, especially Muhammadu Buhari and Tinubu himself. And he made this suggestion after overseeing the fight against Boko Haram, have realized that these folks, the more Traore and the other two presidents from Chad and Niger were chasing terrorists, the terrorists are pouring into every corner of the northern part of Nigeria. Go and look at Nigeria map and you would understand what this man is saying. So this was his recommendation at that time, but was completely ignored. Take a listen, please.
Border management is very critical. I've had countries, because of the level of insecurity they had to fence their borders. I know sometimes when you mention, people say, no, it's impossible. Pakistan fenced 1,350 kilometer border with Afghanistan. That was the only time they had peace. Saudi Arabia and Iraq, 1,400 kilometers fenced completely. Can we start thinking of fencing our borders? We have 1,500 kilometers with Niger Republic, 1,900 kilometers with Cameroon. Chad is there. All over us, surrounded by Francophone countries, and the Sahel is heating up. If we don't do anything, when the Sahel falls, it is Nigeria that everybody is interested in. Because they believe Nigeria is huge, Nigeria is big, Nigeria is rich. And that is what we should start thinking about. How do we secure fully and take control of our borders? It is critical for our survival. It is critical for our sovereignty.
Now, there you heard it. I don't know if you really understand what he's talking about, but let me make it make sense a little bit for us. You see, if you look at the Nigerian map, Nigeria is bordered by Niger majorly, from Sokoto to the state before Borno. We share border with Niger. Let me see if I can find Nigerian map real quick and show you what I'm talking about. Okay, again, remember, my people, we don't do these shows just to cash cruise. We do it to educate our people and to spark reasonable conversations that can lead to great recommendations. So please, we are not just running our mouths over here. We are into serious conversation. So I don't know if you can see my screen right now. Uncle Dayo, can you see the screen? If you're watching, please let me know. Can you see the screen?
Yes, we can see the screen, but there's nothing showing there apart from you and I and your table. Okay, it has come. I can see Nigeria map now.
Uncle Dayo. Okay, so let me expand this so everybody can see it. All right. Yeah. Okay, so this is the map of Nigeria, and I'm sharing this for you to know why I'm taking the CG seriously. Now, if you look at Nigerian map right here, well, up here we have Sokoto, Kano, Maiduguri. Now, I need you to look at Niger at the top. So, if you look at Niger, you're going to see that we share larger part of the northern region of Nigeria with Niger Republic. And if this border here is so porous that terrorists, bandits can easily come into Nigeria and also exit, does that not indicate that we have bigger issues on our hands? I don't know if you guys are following what I'm saying right now. Does that not indicate we have bigger issue on our hands? Because if we have border, as suggested by General Musa, if we fence from all the way from Maiduguri if we fence our border going all the way down to Sokoto, come down to this Niamey, then first off, coming into Nigeria is going to be difficult for the terrorists, because even if they don't want to come directly via the border, it means they have to find a loophole to come into the country. Now, if these terrorists realizes that there is a border, that if they cross into Nigeria and the military is repelling them, it's still going to be difficult for them to go back to where they came from, then they will have to think twice before coming into the country. So that's what the general is suggesting over there. So I think for a man who has been on the battlefront and who has been monitoring this Boko Haram insurgents for the very longest time, definitely he has the experience and he has the technical know-how to fight this insurgency. And appointing him as a minister is a step in the right direction. Now, this, of course, may be coming too late, but I believe, okay, maybe we can start saying we are ready to at least take charge of our own security. And so I'm only agree with President Tinubu with this appointment, because this is the only appointment to me so far that makes sense. Every other appointment, I can say like almost 70% of President Tinubu appointment since he came into office is more or less like political connection kind of paddy thing. But appointing this CG Musa seems to be a step in the right direction. Another angle to the appointment of CG Musa is the fact that he is a Christian. And I'm saying this for a reason. All the ministers, the defense ministers, as well as majority of the top military cadre we have in Nigeria, our commanders, the majority of them are Northerners. And it's going to be difficult for them to say, hey, let's go bomb our brothers. We pray together. We do almost everything together. It's going to be difficult for them. But now appointing a Christian in this battle, that brings a new dimension into this ongoing banditry and insecurity situation we have in the country. However, this is where I want to bring you in real quick, Uncle Dayo. Sister Natu made a very valid contribution here. Sister Natu said, they still won't let Musa walk. That is the issue. Uncle Dayo, what are your take on this one, sir?
Uncle Beno, I think I may have to agree with Sister Natu, but there's something that I'm seeing of late, which I believe that Tinubu will have to create the ambience for him to be able to work. Let me explain. You know, up until now, Tinubu did not take any action over this matter, but now that he has not decided to be taking actions, he's now realizing that it's either he take action now or he will go into oblivion, and he will lose his reputation and then lose his respect and lose everything that is trying to like preserve. So now he wants to make this work. Now he does not care whose toes will be stepped upon. I can see that finally, right? Yes, I can see that he has finally woken up and say, oh boy, if I don't do something now, that may not be 2027 for me again. And what they have been arguing over his head was that if you don't do what you say, there will be no 2027 for you. That did not support him for the second time. But now he realized that instead of him to be bowing down to all their requests and to be kind of pacifying them without taking actions, knowing that what they're doing is wrong, he rather stand up and be counted. Whether they vote for him or whether they support him or not, let him do the right thing. So, and that's what he's doing now. Appointing this man now, we all know what is happening within our military realm. We know that they have been infiltrated, and we know that we have people among them that are reporting back to this, that are sympathetic to these bandits and to all these terrorists. So that's why they have been so weak and they could not perform. But this man being in the system before, understanding the terrain, now coming back as a minister, I think he has an edge. Now, I just pray that he has a good collaboration with the Chief of Defense Staff and all of the other people that are still in the military. Once they can have a synergy, they can be able to work perfectly and do something that will liberate Nigeria from all these bandits. However, it's not going to be an easy task because there will still be betrayals, there will still be bottlenecks, there will still be bureaucratic red tapeism going on among them, among the rank and files, just to frustrate him. But he knows what he has signed up for, and I know he's going to deliver.
Thank you very much for that take, Uncle Dayo. That's a very, very valid point you raised right there. And this brings me to something I feared the most about this, our efforts and fight against insecurity in Nigeria. The militaries appears to have been compromised. The military appears to have been compromised. I've said on several occasions on our show here that growing up in Nigeria, Nigerian military that I know used to be the best in Africa, if not one of the best. In fact, you can hardly identify two nations that had better security or had better military forces than Nigeria in Africa. What baffles me was how they were able to render the Nigerian military useless. And I blame the politicians for it. I blame the current and past crop of military leaders for that. The military we knew growing up, we never compromised their integrity. Integrity used to be everything to our military officers. Yes, we may have one or two who probably can take bribe or do some stupid shit, but they usually flush them out. But under President Muhammadu Buhari to the current administration, the Nigerian military all of a sudden appears so weak. And we suspect where that is coming from. It's because there are people who have infiltrated the rank and files, people who have infiltrated the command structure that makes them weak. Now, with the appointment of General Musa, I'm afraid if General Musa did not do the first thing first, which is let us fish out these officers and commanders who seems to have been compromised in the military first. That's the only way I think he can actually handle the situation and help President Tinubu to fight this battle. So this calls for some high-level thinking anyway. Because of my time, let me just read a couple more comments. I think we have just like about 15 minutes more here. All right. Josie is saying another way to loot our money. Well, let's see how that goes. Francis, how are you doing? Francis said, honestly, that is a good call from Tinubu, but Tinubu have to trust him, believe him, and give him strong support because of all cabal that surrounded Asuro. Man, Francis, one Don Pedro for you. That's a good one. Shout out to Uncle Patrick. Uncle Patrick, you're welcome, sir. Uncle Patrick said, Reverend Achomo said, Musa is a good man. VDM just released a video how Musa invited him and a good man also. God will deliver Tinubu from all the cabals. Absolutely. You know, one thing I've always said about President Tinubu's administration is that having been following Tinubu leadership and how he do things around Lagos in his political space and all of that, I've seen that loyalty means a lot to him, and he doesn't like to disappoint those who believe in him and his agenda. And you can see that in his appointment. The latest ambassadorial list is still a heated debate on the internet right now. You can see that at least about 40% of the people on that list, they have no business being an ambassador. But you can tell that President Tinubu is trying to settle the people who are loyal to him, irrespective of how shady their characters could be. So that has always been my problem. And I still remember on Political Roundtable here, one of the things I've always said is that whoever wants to fix Nigeria, we take corruption head on. So how does all this lead to the appointment of General Musa and the way forward? One issue that has argued and talked about consistently in this fight against bandits and terrorists in Nigeria remains that people are saying there are terrorist sympathizers in Tinubu's administration. It's common these days now. We hear it all the time. Experts will appear on TV shows, past retired generals and the like, they are all speaking. Oh, the terrorist sympathizers, they are in the administration. Oh, they are there, they are there. So, what stops the president from saying, you know what, if I really want to fight these folks, I need to flush out their leaders? Remember, I told you there are two types of bandits and two types of terrorists. You have the terrorists and bandits who lives in the bush, and then you have those who live in the city, who fly the jets, who discuss with leaders, who sit on all the meetings that they are doing. And those one who lives in the city are the one who is feeding and paying those in the bush in order to at least push their own agenda. So I think if President Tinubu really want to take control of the situation, he needs to go after those people in government. He can't do it alone, I understand, but this is where the journalists come in too. I've watched Arise News over and over again. I've watched Channels TV and a couple of news stations in Nigeria, and I can tell you this: I have to say, I'm sorry ahead of time before I say this. We don't have investigative journalists in Nigeria. The vast majority of these folks who paraded themselves in Nigeria are journalists. They are just reporters. I am not a trained journalist, but I'm hosting this show now. Even if you don't pay a lot of attention to how I'm presenting, you would have said, oh, maybe this guy has some journalism in his background. It's a lie. In other words, what I'm saying is that there is no difference between all these journalists in Nigeria and people like us who are blogging. Because we need Nigerian journalists now to help us publish those names. If the government cannot publish it, journalists are supposed to be able to do that. To say, hey, these are the people sponsoring Boko Haram. That's what makes America great. That's what makes most of these first world countries great. They have journalists who will flush out these bad elements. But we don't have that in Nigeria. So why do I tie journalists and Tinubu things together? Sometimes, as a president, if you know, okay, because of my political ambition, I cannot boldly say, hey, these are the people who are creating this menace in government. Then you can use the back door. All you got to do is look for a very bold journalist. A very bold one. You give him the list, you provide security for him and all of that. Let him publish the list. When he publishes the list, those people who have been mentioned, they want to fight back, right? That is where you step in as the president and say, you know what? No, you can't go after him. It's not my administration that mentioned your name, but as the president, your name comes up. Now we have to investigate you. You will see these sponsors, they will start running away from Nigeria. You will see them call the terrorists in the bush and say to them, hey, guy, me say I can't speak Hausa. They will start telling them, hey, guys, you got to step low right now. You got to calm down. No operation, no kidnapping, nothing. Guys, you got to chill. You got to chill until we figure this shit out. It seems it's getting hot here. That is so simple. And to come back to what Uncle Dio said, if Tinubu do not put his 2027 agenda aside and fight this menace we got in the country right now, there will be no 2027. There will be no 2027. As it is right now, 2027 is not even sure for him. Let's not deceive ourselves. With all we got going on in the country, who's going to vote? We're already having voters apathy in the country. So who's going to come out and say they are voting in 2027? And with these folks who also wanted to like run against him in 2027, oh, bro, forget. So if I'm in a position to advise the Nigerian president right now, I'll say, Baba Tinubu, you've done a good job. Appointing General Musa as the Minister of Defense is a great call, and I support him on that one 1,000%. But now you got to go one step further. Let's know the Boko Haram sympathizers in government. You make the announcement, leave it for the citizens to begin drag their butt now. That's what you got to do. So
Uncle Benno, that is like pressing the suicide button. Because if he does that, okay, now let me make it in a much more clearer example. It's like now they are looking for somebody in the country that happens to be a criminal that everybody knows that this person is the worst criminal that we have. Now you, as the leader of the company now, as the leader now, you know that this person that they are talking about, I'm just using this as a literal example. That's nothing to do with you, sir. That this person they are talking to you about is your wife that you are living in the same house with. How easy will it be for you now to come out and say, don't worry, this person you are looking for is my wife? That's the kind of scenario that Tinubu is in now. It is so close to him that he cannot say anything. Can you see danger? And then again also, sir. And then again, sir, the scenario is like this. If Christopher Musa is to succeed, he doesn't have business trying to fish out the compromised military at all. His business is to go after the sympathizers, no matter the level that they are in government. Once they are cut off the head, those supporters, those ones in the military, they will naturally be solar, they will naturally die. Because once you cut off the head, once cut off the root of a tree, the leaves will surely dry off. So it doesn't need to go because it cannot fish. If you just try to fish them out, they will just implicate him, they will set him up, and then they will finish him. But let them go after the leaders, those sponsors, those sympathizers in the government. Once you can cut them out, those ones in the military, they will either resign or flee, or they will just compromise and stay and be a good soldier. That's the only way forward for him. But my prayer for him is that God should allow him grace to be able to walk. And anybody that wants to stand his way, God should help him to get rid of them.
Absolutely.
So that he can succeed.
Absolutely. All right. Let me take a few comments here real quick. Wow. Shout out to, is that Awasagu? Sorry, I don't know how to pronounce it, but I see Awasagu. Anyway, he said Matawale should go, please. That one, what business does that one have? Hey, Tinubu appointment, they shock me at times. Okay, make me trend said, shout out to you, my brother. How you doing? He said, if the government wants to stop this, it can take him. Okay, it won't take him more than 1 week. Our government is very powerful. Trust me. When they want to work, they can work. They are not just serious. And about journalists, he went forward and said, about journalists, we have good journalists, but they will disappear if they attempt to talk. If a pastor was arrested for talking about an attack on his event, I agree with you, my brother. You are absolutely right. And that is where it becomes more scary. The fact that people cannot talk, but still, journalism is a noble profession. There are some professions that once you say, this is what I want to do, you already know that you are staking your life at it. That is how you build countries. That is how America got to where it is today. There are journalists who they no send your papa. They are still going to state their mind. They will tell you what the findings of their investigation. They will publish it and say, do your worst. But again, you are right. Maybe one day we will get there, Sha, by grace of God. Shout out to you, Asabi. How are you doing? Asabi said, you are right, sir. They are called the watchdogs of the country, but instead, they are just trying to stay in their limit and just doing their work. Absolutely. Look at the Nigerian media houses. They can't speak. I'm telling you, if you watch a lot of Nigerian TV stations, almost the same thing you will find on social media from content creators like us. That's the same thing they are regurgitating in their studios. Picking their news from the internet. Nothing concrete, nothing original. Are you not surprised that till now, I have not seen any mainstream media in Nigeria granting interview to Reverend Atomo? Maybe if una see Mona sent to me, okay. My Instagram handle is UB, okay. That's my Instagram handle. If you have found any video where a major TV station in Nigeria granted Reverend Atomo any interview, just send that to me. Maybe I may be wrong. I haven't seen nothing. The people who allow him access to speak are main media houses, foreign media houses. They are the one giving him attention. And bloggers. And that's why I give a lot of shout out to my lovely sister, Adiola Fayem. Because Diola was the first Nigerian blogger bold enough to bring the Reverend Atomo to her platform. It baffles me. It baffles me. So, my brother, you're right. But by God's grace, maybe we'll get there one day. Uncle Patrick said, PBAT sworn to an oath to protect the citizens of Nigeria, so he has no choice but to release the list. Uncle Patrick, I'm not sure that list will ever come out from Nigeria government. They have been peddling that list now. They have been talking about it forever. Even some past office holders have said, they are in my government. They were in my government. What is so wrong that you can't mention their name? That is why these bandits are becoming so brazen. Anyway, we may have to draw the curtain here on this show today. But before I leave, let me quickly cover one other thing that Tinubu is doing wrong. Even though I respect him as Bami, but I think Baba is doing something wrong. And we're going to talk about that in a minute.
You are watching Political Roundtable with UB. Like, subscribe, and leave your thoughts in the comments.
All right. Welcome back, people. Welcome back. Thank you for being here with me. Please, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, subscribe to the channel. Don't be a stranger. When you subscribe to the channel, you automatically become part of the real fam. Over here, we allow everybody to express themselves. The only thing we don't do is we don't use curse word. We don't drag anybody. We don't call anybody out. We simply state our mind in a constructive manner. So, Tinubu, what they call them now, ambassador list is out. Let me find them. Tinubu list of ambassador nominees or ambassadorial nominees. The list is out and people are talking. The list is shocking, it's surprising, and to be honest with you, I got to say this. It is the, selecting people who's going to become Nigeria ambassador to whatever country it is the prerogative of the president. Let's first and foremost, at least highlight that. It is within the president's right to choose those he wanted to become his ambassadors. However, we are expecting the president to at least go for credible individuals. You cannot submit a list of non-career ambassadors made up of people with questionable characters. I listened to TVC News and I almost puke. There is this journalist on TVC News. We used to respect that man a lot because under President Buhari, that man used to have very good intake. His contributions are usually top-notch. But ever since Tinubu came into power, the way that bros they talk now is just the main person. Make I even leave him alone, sha. But in a nutshell, on TVC News, they were trying to whitewash those who are on the list of these ambassadorial nominees by President Tinubu. Now, again, it is within the right of the president to choose whoever he wants to become ministers. But when you appoint people with questionable characters, people who have been accused of all kinds of corruption, who have to go to the courts and fight for their own life and everything in order for them to come out and say, no, there is no case against me. When we know how the judiciary functions in Nigeria, I don't think President Tinubu should have picked those people with questionable characters. But I'll leave that conversation for another day. Why I wanted to talk about this is that one of Tinubu's appointee for ambassadorial position is Uncle Femi Fani-Kayode. Femi Fani-Kayode, to be honest, is a very intelligent man with experience and all of that. And when he was appointed as Minister of Aviation, I think under President Obasanjo, Uncle Dayo, is it Obasanjo that appointed FFK as Minister of Aviation?
Actually, I can't remember. It's either Obasanjo or Jonathan, one of the two, but I'm not sure.
Okay. As the Minister of Aviation, FFK delivered. Okay. He did well. But FFK is known for other things like, for instance, allegedly speaking from both sides of the mouth. FFK is known to sometimes act within the capacity of an attack person whenever he's supporting a political candidate. In his own personal lives, a lot of people also are aware of how he has mistreated some of his partners in the past. There's just so many things about him that outweigh his excellent performance as a former aviation minister. Still, that is not why I'm talking about it. Then why am I talking now? FFK was nominated. We are still waiting for Senate approval. We still don't know how this will go. And this is what FFK did overnight. FFK chose to attack Senator Cruz and many other senators who are fighting for Nigerian Christians. If you go to Twitter, you will see his post where he said this: a warning to Senator Ted Cruz and his cabal of Yankee crusaders. American Ted Cruz is the joker of the century. He is the hashtag AI Park sponsored village idiot and asinine fool who says he wants to save Nigerian Christians from what he has described as Christian genocide, with three others, namely Rep. Riley Moore, Rep. Chris Smith, and American Secretary of State Senator Rubio, are his happy cheerleaders. An Israel-loving, genocide-enabling, Muslim-hating, Zionist papri and Gaza-slaughtering Yankee hillbilly who support a cruel, leprous, lawless race man shit. Bro went ahead and said all kinds of things about these American senators. The point I'm making here is that FFK can actually put his viewpoint forward without insults. He can actually disagree with whatever the American senators and reps are talking about without resorting to lambasting them on the internet. Now, President Tinubu turned around and selected FFK as part of his ambassadorial nominee. And yet, we all know if you want speedy socioeconomic development, you must establish partnership with the United States. May we not deceive ourselves. So, this now make me wonder, when with President Tinubu just say, you know what, there are some people who are not supposed to be in my cabinet because they will cause more damages than good. But are we ever going to get there? Just to round things up, Uncle Dayo, what are your thoughts about FFK attack on these American senators? Remember, I am not saying FFK is wrong for calling them out, but the vile words, the attack he levied against these honorable senators, just for them speaking out, stating the obvious that Christians are under attack in Nigeria. Is that not too much? Your final take, Uncle Dayo.
Thank you very much, Uncle Beno. First off, Uncle FFK, as it's being called, is playing a game. Number one, we know him to be very, very aggressive. And we also know him to be a kind of a person that like to intimidate and like to oppress. Just when he was being nominated as an ambassador, one of his old videos have been circulating over the internet where he dressed down a journalist that was interviewing him on a live feed.
Yeah.
He lambasted that journalist to the point that, in fact, I felt pity for the poor man. That is the way he does some things. He doesn't care. He's a bully. And he does that over and over again. Even during the course of the time, I think about a year or two or so ago, there was a case of his ex-wife that came on the social media also accusing him of the same of the same attitude, allegedly. However, coming back to this issue, what he did, as well as what most of them were doing, was to play to the gallery, doing that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu like loyalists, and you surely reward them. So they played this so well. That's why somebody like this our young man here, and like this Reno went all the way out to be saying things to support President Tinubu. We all know where he was going. Finally, he has gotten what he wants. So he too did the same thing, and Tinubu has rewarded them. But I want to say something here. You asked a question.
Hello, Uncle Dayo. Oh, I think Uncle Dayo is receiving a call. All right. While I wait for Uncle Dayo to reconnect real quick, here is the video Uncle Patrick said that I should play. Take a listen to this.
On live TV. What? No, put that thing now. Let me address. What type of stupid question is that? What type of stupid question is that? Bankrolling who? Do you know who you are talking to? Bank. I will not take any questions.
Uncle Dayo, let me know where you're.
What type of insulting question is that? Which bankroll for to do what? Who can give me money for anything? Who do you think you are talking to? Bankroll what? Go and report yourself to your publisher. Bankroll what? Please don't insult me here. Okay, I don't want to take any questions from this man. Very I could see from your face before you got here how stupid you are. Don't ever talk to me like that. Who do you think you're talking to? Bankroll who? You think that I'm one of those ones you'll be from who? From how? When? Where? How? You have a small mind, very small mind. Don't judge me by your own standards. I've been in politics since 1990. I'm not one of these politicians you think will just come. I've been locked up how many times by this government? Suffered. I've been persecuted. Unlike most of the politicians you follow for brown envelope. You. Don't ever judge me by that standard. I spend, I don't take. And I'm not a poor man. I've never been and I will never be. Bankroll how? Don't ever suggest that to me. I'm sorry that it was deeply insulting. I don't often get annoyed in press conferences. I've been doing this type of thing for many, many years. Don't you ever make that kind of suggestion to me.
Thank you, sir. Unfortunately, there you have it. That is the man that made Tinubu's ambassadorial list, Uncle Femi Fani Kayode. So, anyway, I think Uncle Dayo received a call. I couldn't get Uncle Dayo back, but I'm going to be back tomorrow for another round of Political Roundtable. Thank you for joining me today. I see you, my lovely Auntie Grace. How are you doing, ma? You're welcome to Political Roundtable, but unfortunately, we are rounding up now, ma. Let me know what you think, ladies and gentlemen, please. Kindly drop your thoughts in the comment. If you get to watch on playback, please kindly let me know what you think about the appointment of CG Musa as the Minister of Defense. And if you agree with me also that President Tinubu have actually made the right call by appointing him. Remember, this is UB and the Real Fam over here. We are building a community. If you are watching us for the first time, subscribe to the channel. Don't be a stranger. Make sure you are active, and we shall see you guys in the next one. Special thank you to Uncle Dayo for co-hosting with me. Thank you to Mr. Patrick. Thank you to my lovely sister Mary, Mom of 5. Everybody that are part of today's show, God bless you. Uncle Patrick, thank you. My lovely sister Timila Day, you are welcome. Thank you, everybody. And the new people who join us today, Make Me Trend, thank you for your contribution. Canary, no, they disappear. You ran away, I don't see you again, my brother. All right, I'm gonna see you guys tomorrow. Stay safe. Remember, this is December, the last month of the year 2025. Please be safe. Don't drink and drive. If you live in places like Nigeria, please always watch your back. Make sure you assess your environment. Be security conscious. I cover you all with the blood of Jesus. And also, please stay safe. All right. And for those of us who are here, it's very cold now. The weather is so cold. So please make sure you have warm blanket to everybody. I wish I'm retired. I would have run to Nigeria right now. This is a very good time to be in Nigeria, and the weather is not friendly at all. All right. My name is Benuril, and this is Political Roundtable. I'll see you all in the next one. Bye-bye from this side. Okay. I don't know if my baby girl Abby or anybody gonna have any show later, but for now, this is me saying I'll see you all tomorrow. Bye-bye.
You are watching Political Roundtable with UB. Like, subscribe, and leave your thoughts in the comments.